I welcome you all for the session Energy Auditing in a Chemical Industry. I am Dr. R. Perumal, Professor of Chemical Engineering, Department of Chemical Engineering, Erode Sengundar Engineering College, Perundurai. In every industry or organization or a process plant, energy plays a vital role in optimizing the energy cost. Each and every equipment and process and plant in the manufacturing unit consumes energy. So in a chemical industry, energy can be supplied in the form of electricity, fossil fuels, and renewable energy sources. So whatever it may be the sources of energy, the equipments and plants which consumes more energy has to be analyzed periodically, and the energy consumption pattern and the energy conservation strategy and the energy management plan has to be executed. So in a process industry or an organization or an production industry, the energy management team will form a audit team. They will inspect the plant. They will thoroughly analyze all the energy consumption equipments, the energy bills. They will analyze the energy bills, and they will arrive what are the areas which consumes, what are the plants and equipments which consumes more energy, what are the areas in which we can save energy, and what are the areas the energy is lost due to leakage, and what is the possible ways to conserve energy. So this is the primary aim of the energy audit team. So energy auditing can be defined as a official scientific study of energy consumption of an organization or process plant or equipment aimed to reduce the cost of energy, or indirectly we can say the energy audit is to reduce the operating cost of a process or manufacturing cost of a product. So the primary objective of energy auditing is to establish quickly and reliably the basic relative cost of the various forms of energy purchased, their main use, and to identify missing locations where losses, wastages or inefficiency occurs. So the energy audit team will visit the industry. They will study all the energy consumption equipments. They will study the operating patterns, efficiency of the equipment, energy consumption per hour, per day, per week. They will analyze all the energy bills, oil rate, oil consumption, and finally they will arrive a conclusion, and also they will suggest some possible ways to reduce the energy cost. So this is the objective of an energy audit. So energy auditing can be carried out in two types of energy audit. The first one is preliminary audit and a detailed audit. So in the preliminary audit is the pre-audit. So before going to detailed audit, a preliminary audit will be carried out 10 days prior to the detailed audit, in which they will raise some questionnaires, so which is going to help the detailed auditing. So the next detailed on energy audit, it includes the overall audit of the entire plant. The plant is divided into several sections. So each and every sections the audit team will visit. They will thoroughly analyze the energy consumption pattern of each and every energy consuming equipments. So detailed energy audit includes overall system audit, functional audit, utility audit, and modernization of audit. So overall system, the entire plant, right from the security to dispatch, whatever the areas we use energy, whether it may be electricity, it may be a petrol or diesel or kerosene, or it may be a steam, whatever it may be the source of energy, all the energy consumption equipment has to be thoroughly analyzed, and they will come to a conclusion. Then functional audit, in a particular in a plant, a particular unit is taken for consideration. For example, an oxidation plant or a purification plant or a packaging section which consumes more energy, which needs more attention for conserving the energy. So they will audit only that functional unit only. That is called functional unit. Then utility audit. Utility means it includes the boiler house, compressors, fire hydrant water, cooling water. So the energy utilization in that area. The utility area will be audited and they will suggest some improvement tips. Then modernization on it. Within the existing plant, they will go for some modernization of an equipment or a plant. So whether this modernization process will lie within the affordable limit of the energy cost. So what will be the additional energy cost we have to invest for modernization? Then how to optimize this energy cost or to reduce the energy cost? The audit team will analyze and they will suggest some useful tips. So this is comprehensive audit. So typical steps of energy audit. Energy audit can be carried out in various steps. The step-by-step operation of energy audit is preparation and planning, data collection and review, plant surveys and system measurements, observation and review of operating practices, data documentation and analysis, reporting of the results and recommendations. So preparation and planning. Before going for auditing, we have to do some preparation and planning. What are the areas to be audited? So what are the potential area which consumes more energy? Then what are the data we have to collect it from the plant? What are the data to be, whether the EB bill or oil bill, oil consumption, the equipment efficiency, the equipment running time, like that. They have to collect the data. So before we going to audit, the management team, the energy management team will decide what are the areas to be audited, what are the data to be collected, and what is the review strategy, review method we have to adopt. Like that they will plan. Then plant surveys and system measurements. So what are the plant areas to be surveyed and what are the system has to be measurement. In what measurement system you have to adopt, whether we can calculate it in a kilowatt hour or if it is an oil gallons per hour, like that. What is the system measurement they have to decide. And observation and review of operating practices, data documentation and analysis. What are the data we have to be documented after analysis? Then in what form the report, the audit team should report the audit report. What is the format for audit report? What are the areas to be addressed? What are the parameters to be included? Like that they have to plan for energy audit. That includes the next one is the overview of energy audit procedure. So energy audit can be classified into three types. Three steps: energy audit preparation, energy audit execution, and energy audit reporting. So energy audit preparation includes plan and preparation and planning, data collection, plan surveys, like that. Then after that, the actual execution of energy audit, the audit team really visit the plant. They will collect all the data and analyze, then they will suggest. Then energy audit reporting. There is a standard procedure, standard formats available to report the findings of energy audit. That is called energy audit reporting. So energy audit report writing is a separate topic. So preparation and planning includes audit criteria, audit scope, selection of audit team, audit plan, checklist preparation, initial walkthrough, collecting energy bills and available data, preliminary analysis. So audit criteria. So audit criteria includes audit objective, audit type, audit methodology and standards, staff involvement, site or utility boundary, timeline, reporting requirements. So the audit objectives. What is the objective of audit? By this audit, what you are going to achieve? Whether we are going to optimize the cost, or whether we are going to improve the efficiency of the plant, or whether you are going to study the energy consumption pattern of a particular equipment. So like that we have to we have to define the audit criteria, objective in the audit criteria. Then audit type, then audit scope. So what are the limitations for the auditors to visit? What are the areas they have to visit? What are the areas we have to include in the particular audit? Like that we have to define the audit scope. And the selection of audit team, whether we go for internal auditor or external auditor. If it is an internal auditor, So interdepartment audit or intra-departmental audit, like that we have to plan. So whether go for external audit means whether the auditors are from the accredited institute or non-accredited institute, like that we have to plan for the selection of audit team. Then audit plan, checklist for preparation. So before going hand over the schedule to the auditors, we have to prepare a checklist whether all the items have been included or not, we have to plan. Then initial walkthrough. So before going to the audit team will initially enters into the visit the plant. They will study. If it is an internal auditor, there is no problem. They will well aware of the plant. If we go for external auditor, the audit team will visit the preliminary visit to the plant. They will study the entire operation of the plant. They will collect some data and get some ideas. So that is initial walkthrough. Then collecting energy bills and available data. The energy auditor will collect all the data and bills from the auditee and they will do the analysis. Then preliminary analysis. So this is the preparation and planning for auditing. The next, energy audit execution. So it involves data inventory and measurements, analyzing energy use patterns, benchmarking and comparative analysis, identifying energy efficiency potentials, cost benefit analysis. So data inventory and measurements. So what are the data? They will collect all the data from the plant or organization and all the measurements they will collect. Then analyzing the energy use patterns. So what is the operating time of the how many hours the equipment is operated. So what is the energy source, whether it is electricity or fossil fuel or alternative source of energy, and how the energy is utilized. Like that they will raise some questions. They will prepare some questions. They will ask the questions. The auditee has to answer for it. From that they will come to a conclusion. They will analyze. Then benchmarking and comparative analysis. If the similar operation, similar equipment is running anywhere in the plant or outside the plant or outside the world, they will collect the similar data from the other organization, other area. They will compare this data from our plant to another area. That is called benchmarking. They will compare the details. Then identifying energy efficiency potentials. So what are the areas we can save energy? So what are the areas in which the energy is lost due to leakage? Like that they will identify. Then cost benefit analysis. They will do some calculation for cost benefit. The next, energy audit report. So all the findings of the energy auditing will be reported in a systematic manner in a standard format. That is called energy audit report. Writing energy audit report. So it includes post audit activities. So after the report writing, the post audit activities will be carried out. The preparation of action plan for implementation and implementing the action plan. So what are the corrective measures? So what are the corrective measures we have to adopt? So what is is there any technology upgradation required or some modification required or some addition or deletion of equipments or instruments? All the things will be prepared in a audit report, prepared and suggested in a audit report. So after that, the implementation of action plan. So this is the overview of an energy audit. So first, preparation and planning, preliminary auditing, comprehensive auditing, audit report and post audit activities. So these are the overview of an energy audit. Now let us throw some lights on what is audit criteria. So it includes audit objective. So audit objective means what we are going to achieve after completing this audit. What are the areas to be focused? Whether we have to improve the efficiency or reduce the cost or reduce the energy consumption. That is the objective of an audit. So what type of audit we can conclude? Whether it is a functional audit or comprehensive, complete overall audit or modernization audit or utility audit, like that. What type of audit we have to conduct, and audit methodology and standards. So what is the standard method we have to adopt, and the methodology for auditing we have to plan, and the staff involvement. Who all are the staffs? The auditor and auditee both. Who all are going to be act as auditee, and whether we go for internal audit or external audit, like that we have to plan. Then site or utility boundary. So for each and every functional unit we have to define the boundary. So within that boundary only the auditor will execute the auditing work. Then timeline. So whether 2 days or 3 days or 1 week. So what is the auditing timeline? And the reporting requirements. What are the parameters need to be analyzed and reported in the audit report. So this is the audit criteria. Then audit scope. So what are the areas to be covered? The audit scope needs to consider the available resources such as staff, time, audit boundary, level of analysis, expected result, and a degree of detail and a budget. So this is the audit scope. Then selection of energy audit team. So auditor can be either internal or external. If it is internal auditor, whether they are trained or not untrained. Then external audit. So external audit team audit from an accredited organization or non-accredited organization. So like that we have to select the energy audit team. Then audit plan. It includes scope of the audit. So already we have defined what is the scope and what is the time and duration of the audit and the elements of the audit. So what are the equipments to be analyzed, in which a particular component has to be focused, that is elements of the audit. For example, if you go for if you are auditing for steam consumption equipments, then we have to analyze, so how many steam traps are installed, out of which how many steam traps are working properly, how many steam traps are working 50% efficiency or 75% efficiency, and how many traps have failed to work. Like that we have to analyze. Then responsibility and task of each audit team members. So who is the head of the team, audit team, and subordinates, and what are the responsibilities and authorities we have to define. Then format for audit report we have to prepare. So this includes audit plan. Then audit checklist. It includes steps to be taken during audit, data and information should be collected, existing measurement instrument and data to be recorded, required measurements during audit and the parameters to be measured, major equipments to assess in more detail, list of main components of the result section of the audit, and other major concerns and consideration. The next initial walkthrough. So if we go for internal audit team, if you appoint an internal auditor, no problem. They all know about all the process and regular working nature of the plant or organization. But if you go for external audit, before going for the actual audit, they should familiarize with the plant. A chemical engineer can audit mechanical industry, a mechanical auditor can electrical industry. They need not to be familiarized with the plant before entering into the audit. When he is appointed as an auditor, before going to the detailed audit, they have to familiarize. So what is happening inside the plant? So what are the parameters we have to study? So what is the main operation of the plant? Like that they have to familiarize. So in order to get the valuable information and overall idea about the process plan, the energy audit team will go through an initial walk to the plant. That is called initial walkthrough. The next, collecting energy bills and available data. So energy bills and invoices for last 2 to 3 years, they will collect all the EB bills and fuel bills for a particular period of time. Then monthly production data for last 2 to 3 years. Then climatic data for the period in which the audit is conducted. Because due to the climatic condition, the energy consumption may vary. So during rainy season, all the temperature of the plant will be dropped or will be reduced or altered. So in such a period, we have to supply more energy from a boiler or a steam generator, like that. So climatic condition will alter the energy consumption. So we have to study the climatic data. Then possible archive records with measurements from existing recorders. Architectural and engineering plans of the plant and equipments. Status of energy management and energy saving measures implemented. Then general information about the plant. So all this information the energy auditor has to collect before doing the detailed analysis of the plant. Then preliminary analysis. Preliminary analysis provides information for better understanding about the plant, general picture of plant energy use, operation and energy losses, provides enough information to undertake any necessary changes in the audit plan. A detailed flow chart can be constructed to indicate the energy flow of the system being audited. So before entering the plant, the detailed engineering of the plant, that is the process flow chart and process and instrumentation diagram, will be collected, and they will identify the potential area for conserving energy. So what are the equipments which consume more energy? Like that they will plan and study with the thermal energy flow diagram. Then analyzing energy bills. It includes electricity bill, natural gas bill, and coal and fuel oil usage. So calculating electricity use per day, kilowatt hour per day. Using this kilowatt hour electricity usage, they will find out the load factor. So load factor can be defined as the energy consumption for the period to the maximum demand and time under consideration. So load factor is equal to energy consumption for the period divided by maximum demand and time under consideration multiplied by 100. So calculating natural gas bill, it includes number of days, reading date, contracted demand, overrun, customer charge, demand charge, gas supply charge, delivery charge, and overrun charge. Then coal and fuel oil bill. So coal consumption can be calculated based on the combustion efficiency and the energy output of the coal-fired equipment. Fuel oil consumption can be obtained from the meter in the outflow. So we have a fuel tank. From the fuel tank to the equipment, we are pumping the fuel from the tank. So in the line, we will install an oval gear meter or OGM. Using this meter, we can read out the how much energy, how much oil has been consumed. Then coal consumption can be calculated from the operating efficiency of the particular unit. So data inventory and measurements. The most common data used during audit are liquid and gas fuel flows, electrical measurements such as voltage, current, power and power factor, temperature of solid and liquid surfaces, pressure of fluid in pipes, furnaces or vessels, exhaust gas emissions, relative humidity and luminance level. So data inventory and measurements mainly focus on electrical load inventory, thermal energy use inventory, which includes where the electricity used, how much and how fast electricity is used in each category of load. So thermal energy inventory, energy flow diagram can be used to identify the flow of thermal energy. So for example, in a refinery operation, so energy is the energy from the crude oil is transferred to distillation column. In the distillation column, the chemical energy is converted into thermal energy. Then thermal energy is again converted to chemical energy. So this is the pattern for energy flow. So this is the typical example. The crude oil from a overhead tank is supplied to the reboiler. So the reboiler, the chemical energy from the crude oil is converted into heat energy. Then it is converted to thermal energy. So in a distillation column, various products are derived at various temperature. Finally, all the products are converted into chemical energy. So this is the energy flow chart. Checklist for thermal energy outflows. So energy flow type, example, so conduction, wall and windows, building structure. So this is the checklist for energy outflows. So calculation for estimating energy outflows and inflows. The auditor can quantify the inflows and outflows of energy using the energy flow diagram. So energy flow diagram is the tool to analyze how much energy is input to the system and how much energy is released from the system and what is the accumulation or conversion. The two information sources mainly available in the equipment process are nameplate ratings and steam flow meters. So in each and every equipment there will be a nameplate. It will indicate the efficiency of the plant, and the steam flow meters also available from which we can calculate the steam consumption. So energy system and the specific measurements. Different types of energy system in a plant. Pumping, it requires energy. Fan, it consumes energy. Compressed air, steam and process heating system. So each of these systems has their own unique characteristics and they often require different measurement techniques and instruments. So the standard code followed is ASME standard is followed for energy balance. Next, energy balance. So all energy inputs can be quantified and balanced against all energy outputs. So using this energy balance only we can calculate where the energy has lost. So how to minimize the loss of energy, like that we got to plan. So analyzing energy use and production patterns. So it includes load demand profile, load duration diagram, then scatter diagram for presenting the dynamics of the energy production and relationship. So these are the various tools to analyze the energy consumption pattern. So here we are giving only outlines. So load demand profile is the one method for analyzing the energy pattern, energy use and production pattern, load duration diagram, then scatter diagram, then benchmarking and comparative energy performance analysis. So any operation carried out, the similar operation carried out within the plant or outside the plant can be compared, and the best practices followed in the outside the unit can be copied or followed within to improve the efficiency of our plant. That is called benchmarking. So plant performance may be benchmarked to past performance comparing current versus historical performance, industry average comparing to an established performance metric such as recognized average performance of a peer group, best in class benchmarking against the best in the industry and not the average, and best practices qualitative comparing against certain established practices or groups of technologies considered to be the best in the industry. Then identify energy efficiency and energy cost reduction opportunities control. So electrical demand control, cross-cutting energy efficiency improvement options, sector specific energy efficiency improvement opportunities for selected industrial sectors. So electrical demand control. Demand control is a follow-up analysis that is normally conducted by energy auditors after development of a demand or load profile. Demand control is simply a technique for leaving out and load profile diagram. So cross-cutting energy efficiency improvement options It includes motor management plan, maintenance plan, energy efficient motors, rewinding of motors, proper motor sizing, adjustable speed drives, so power factor correction. So these are the areas where we can then energy efficiency improvement opportunities in compressed air systems. So reduction of demand, maintenance, monitoring, reduction of leaks in pipes and equipments, optimizing the compressor to match its load, proper pipe sizing, heat recovery. So these are the areas we can cut energy, save energy. So energy efficiency improvement opportunities in pumping systems. So maintenance, controls, reduction of demand, more efficient pumps, proper pump sizing, multiple pumps for varying loads, impeller trimming, avoiding throttling valves, replacement of belt drives, minimizing pressure, control density, precision casting, surface coatings or polishing, improvements of sealing. So these are the techniques to improve energy efficiency in a pumping system. Then energy efficiency improvement opportunities in fan system, minimizing the pressure, control density, high efficiency belts, proper fan and size, adjustable speed device, high efficiency belts. So these are the improvement techniques in fan system. And in the lighting system, lighting controls, replace mercury lights with metal halide or high pressure sodium lights, replace metal halide with high intensity fluorescent lights. So replace magnetic ballast with electronic ballast, optimum use of natural sunlight. So energy efficiency improvement opportunities in steam system, it includes boiler allocation control, insulation improvement, reduce fouling, reduction of excess air, flue gas monitoring, recovery of condensate, combined heat and power, insulation related measures, checking and monitoring steam traps, thermostatic steam traps and per screen coal. Energy efficiency improvement opportunity in steam system, steam distribution. So in a steam distribution we can save energy by means of setting of excess distribution lines, proper pipe sizing, so providing proper insulation related measures, checking and monitoring steam traps, thermostatic steam traps. So cross-cutting energy efficiency improvement options for heat generation operations, heat transfer opportunities, heat containment opportunities and heat recovery opportunities. So we can save energy by control the air fuel ratio. So preheat the combustion air, use the oxygen enriched combustion air for heat generation opportunities. In a heat transfer opportunities, so improve heat transfer with advanced burners and controls, 5 to 10% we can save. Improve heat transfer within a furnace, 5 to 10% energy can be saved. In a heat containment opportunities, reduce wall heat losses, 2 to 5% energy saved. Furnace pressure control, 5 to 10% energy saved. Maintain door and tube seals, up to 5% we can save energy. So reduce cooling of internal parts, up to 5% energy is saved. Reduce radiation heat losses, we can save up to 5%. Then heat recovery opportunities, it includes combustion air preheating, 10 to 30% energy can be saved. Fluid or load preheating, 5 to 20% energy saved. Heat cascading, 5 to 20% energy saved. Fluid heating or steam generation, 5 to 20% energy saved. Then absorption cooling, 5 to 10% savings energy. Then life cycle cost analysis, LCCA, life cycle cost method, net present value method, internal rate of return method, simple payback period method. So these are the cost benefit analysis of energy efficiency opportunities. So these are the tools to analyze the energy efficiency. Then preparing an energy audit report. The audit report should be written in a way that provides suitable information to the potential readers of the report, which could be the CEO or plant manager, the supervisor of engineering and maintenance, and the plant shift supervisor. The audit report should be concise and precise and use direct language that is easy to understand. Use more graphs rather than tables for the presentation of data, results, and trends. The recommendation section should be specific, clear, and with adequate detail. Assumptions made in analysis should be explained clearly. How changes in the key assumption can influence the results should also be explained. A sensitivity analysis is a very helpful tool for this. The auditors should do their best to avoid mistakes and errors in the report, especially in the results. Even a few errors could be damage the credibility of the audit. The energy audit report should be consistent in structure and terminology used. The calculation made in the analysis work should be explained clearly. The comprehensive energy audit report generally covers the following: energy conservation opportunities, energy conservation measures, projected investments for energy conservation measures, projected annual savings of energy conservation measures and payback period, feasibility studies for retrofitting modification work. The post-audit activities, it includes create an action plan for the implementation of energy efficiency measures and implement the action plan. Thanking you.